Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons. Sir, when you look at that, you see, that case, they believe that it was a locked case with guns inside. Alexis said they're not sure if that was a federal vehicle or not. Do you know, was that a federal law enforcement vehicle that was broken into?
Yeah, Martha, without getting too much into the investigation, it was a federal vehicle. But just to the point, that is not peaceful protesting. That's not what the governor, that's not what the mayor is calling for. That's anarchy, plain and simple. That's impediment. And unfortunately, that's what ICE agents are encountering every day. What we really need is elected officials to say, you can peacefully protest, but not like that, not throwing fireworks, not breaking into vehicles, not putting your hands on ICE agents. But instead, they just keep increasing the rhetoric. And that's why you keep seeing this night after night, what the men and women of ICE and our other federal partners and to a fact, local law enforcement are encountering daily.
Do you want the Insurrection Act employed here? Do your folks need it? Is that what you're asking President Trump to do?
Martha, we're not going to get ahead of the president, but I will tell you, as Secretary Noem's given us all our law enforcement tools at her disposal to go ahead and protect our agents. But just seeing this, we have the mayor say that there's so many ICE agents and Border Patrol agents on the ground. Well, the problem is the fact that you have local law enforcement who don't come to the aid of federal enforcement when we ask for it. You have protesters that are showing up within seconds, if not minutes, to an ICE arrest. So, of course, we have to start bringing our own resources in there. And it's causing situations just like this. If local law enforcement and local officials would just work with us on the front end and take these individuals in custody, you wouldn't see this. But no, instead of calling for the protests to stop impeding ICE agents, what they're doing, they're calling for people to actively resist. And that's exactly what you're seeing here.
Is it working? I mean, what were the targets for how many people you went into the state of Minnesota with wanting to apprehend based on their criminal records? Are you getting those numbers? You'll be able to do it in the middle of all this?
We are, and that's a true accomplishment to the men and women of ICE and our federal partners, is the fact that we are making a significant difference, and we are making a large number of arrests through all these kind of protests. But it's because we had to bring in so many federal resources just to provide security for our own folks. But if you look at the worst of the worst, and you look what DHS put out with some of those cases, we've had so many rapists, murderers that were roaming free and hiding in plain sight in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. We would hope that elected officials and the public would be thanking ICE for taking them out of communities, but instead we have, incidents like you're seeing on the screen right there.
Yeah. I want to show a couple of things that are getting a lot of attention. This first video is ICE agents pulling a woman out of a car in Minneapolis. I read a piece this morning about her, that she is an activist, but clearly this kind of video is the sort of thing that, gets people riled up. They may not know all the details around it. What do you say about this video?
Martha, you just said it perfectly right there. There's so much of that video that no one else has seen, unfortunately, right? And it doesn't show what she...
Can you tell us what else happened here that provoked this exchange?
Well, without getting too specific, since the fact that we do have criminal charges on that individual, you have somebody that's driving into a scene, you're driving into a law enforcement situation after being warned not to do that, coming at officers, blocking in vehicles. Then when she's told to get out of the car, she doesn't, and she resists at that point. And unfortunately, again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but when you have elected officials that are saying, go out and do this, go out and impede ICE, go out and protect your neighbor, and they're doing it like this, this is what happens and leads to it. And unfortunately, these videos come up and there's only one side to it. And we're constantly having to go on the defense. But the men and women of ICE are professional. They're professional law enforcement officers. That's what they're out there doing every day. And again, at the end of the day, we have to make sure our men and women of ICE and all law enforcement go home safe every night.
So this is another video. Some ICE agents walking in the front door of a Mexican restaurant is what is reported here in St. Paul. They get screamed at, and then they go out the back door. Just watch this. When I watch this, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. They have masks on. Are they there to apprehend someone? Are they there because there's a target in that restaurant? Can you explain this?
So in those situations, Martha, it's twofold, right? So we do have Homeland Security investigations, special agents that are on the ground, and they're also investigating potential worksite enforcement situations where we've received tips or we have known targets that are being employed in the United States or in a restaurant, say in this situation, and they're going to investigate that. We do a lot of consensual encounters when we do worksite enforcement. We work with employers to see who's actually there. If we have a tip that someone maybe involved in human smuggling or some type of forced labor situation, that's what they do. So in all situations, they'll go there and conduct a consensual interview, investigation with that business owner. And if they develop any leads or any evidence, they'll come back with a criminal warrant like all HSI investigations has done.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.